I'm going to read through a section of a blog, okay? This is an introduction, wrote this time last year, back in April, okay? And then I will get into the content that was written in 2018 in secret. This is my secret journal. This is truth advice, or advice for an aspiring truth speaker, but maybe somebody like me, like advice to my younger self, but also advice that others that may come after me can follow. So I write, now that the April 8th eclipse has approached and our society is feeling the intensity of the moment, the time has arrived to release this book, which I hope will soon be a zine or a small paperback online. While the book is for everyone, I have a neat combination, of genetics, which at present are not popular or widely accepted in the modern truth movement, and that has played a role in my long-term isolation from society, which continues to this day. All attempts to meet locals in person and share my years of content have failed. Okay, this is me 10 months ago writing, and 10 months later, nothing has changed. And I've given my card out to plenty of older men. And so some of them may be on this channel now, and this is me writing 10 months ago. So my only hope is to mentor and teach the next generation of humans who may be more receptive to my ideas than those alive today, okay? If they're gonna be reading my words in 100 years, as I have been predicting, and there's a reason for that, it's time to get to work on those words manifesting into real world paper, not just blogs or social media. Okay, now it's gonna take a long time to get into this. Okay, but we're gonna start with this, and I'm just gonna read portions, all right? So we're gonna start with July, and we're gonna take our time with this. This truth book is being written in secret at this time, only to be published at a later date when society is ready for the information. You can even say that things are a bit hot right now in both the comment section and the streets. I want to set aside a few moments to reflect on the major examples and expressions of the archonic influence over our world today. Are you good? Fine with that? By the way, if you're on the main surname channel, Advice for Angels, follow the link down below to read this for yourself instead of having to read it on the screen. And while you're there, find your way to the main page and hit the subscribe button. You're going to want to do that. Okay, and I'm going to continue with the parts because this is just part one, but I don't recall actually making a video about it. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, the white supremacy meme is an alien program, and I have a sense that the powers that be are trying to create a world without them. Okay, in this example, my focus is on those of Middle Eastern and Central Asian heritage with some racial expressions and bloodlines ending up more of a target than others, such as Syrians, Afghans, the people of Yemen, and others beyond my current knowledge and education. These groups seem to be regular targets of dehumanization as well as genocide, which the program now is running full steam. Now, it would be a year after this. This is a note that I'm adding to you right now, that Afghans were massacred in war crimes in May of 2019. Okay, we talked about it on video. So I begin to add what I call afterthought notes, right? It's basically, the thoughts that I had after this, and I thought it would be a great point to add a point there. And that's why this video is happening now with all the shit happening and with the return of Trump. So afterthought note, okay? It continues to be my belief that the powers that be have weaponized current migration against the population in a covert operation to create a future dystopian backlash and deportation program, possibly after false flags. My current video content expands on this on a regular basis. They've made it very unpopular to voice current concerns, to currently voice concerns about the victims of war, or the endless wars still going on, or that happen to be taking place maybe in our future. Most political rallies today focus on violence, as Portland has regularly hosted a battle for the city between Antifa and Patriot Prayer, showing the level of consciousness there. While the masses may have picked their flavor of cola in a controlled divide of the hungry masses, I see an archonic system feeding off the blood spilled on the streets as semi-sentient beings cheer for more of it. Many of these modern humans seem to be easily programmed from the convenience of their laptop or cell phone somewhere in private, with no one around them looking or able to intervene in the mind control program. Okay? And here's an afterthought note that I added. We've been taught to isolate ourselves from others and deeply connect with technology to be social. And the side effect of this normalization is now showing how far the bottom can drop. I've seen examples on social media of hatred being promoted on the news feed. There have been years of fake news claiming that innocent Syrian refugees and others are not fleeing danger, but in fact are working for ISIS. And why are they borrowing a hermetic term? ISIS has an original meaning that's spiritual. You knew that, right? No, you knew that, right? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that fascinating? Afterthought note. We have seen Mr. Ike get on board this narrative in July of 2023. And now even Twitter, X, is featuring extreme levels of mindless violence. It's just showing it to you on the feed. And that could result in an increased level of racial attacks, including against white people. As the algorithm has at times promoted videos of violent white on black attacks, Musk was strongly defended in the comments as showing the truth. You know, the way that he allows mindless violence, he's showing the truth. Many predictions have been made about his agenda and those close to him. I've made many over the years. This dehumanization program hasn't gone away and appears cyclical, with recent blood moon events showing an uptick in hateful thinking and actions. Okay? Also, I talk about being contacted by an unstable and violent person who stayed with me while I wrote this journal. Okay? And so, you know, and this is my afterthought now, but I'm trying to keep them minimal. When you get into certain content, it can invoke those people. So that's why it's good to allow some time to pass before getting into it. Okay? So this is truth for an aspiring true speaker, but also a commentary on the paranormal overtones of what it's like doing what I've done, living off the grid. I mean, there's a number of different ways that I can title this blog and this series, and so many different ways that it can be interpreted, and so many different markets and niches, from off-grid to paranormal to journalism to counterculture. But the person that contacted me seemed confused, seemed to think that I was still living there, and seemed to be wanting to stay on my land, and he changed his profile pictures to feature the alien gray. All right? So I have to clarify that I didn't just leave my land due to online harassment, but also the dark vibrations from him, his friends, and local community leaders on social media. Okay? I talk about an Indian couple physically and verbally assaulted in Canada. This event followed days of disinformation in which I'm seeing false reports of Canadians having to bow to Muslims. Other blonde female reporters are in Australia, propping up a meme or an idea of dangerous Muslim no-go zones where non-Muslims allegedly face danger. I'm taking this time to pen to paper my concerns, which include possible internment of not only Muslims, but also non-Muslims with last names from the Middle East and perhaps beyond. This social engineering also includes the latter agenda to dehumanize the very Americans who allowed the nation to fall to tyranny or to tyranny's pressure. And so I'll add a brief afterthought note verbally now too. The task of even writing this now is challenging and seems to have a bit of a spotlight being put on my activities. May the aeons, the angels of God above, bless me and protect me on this life mission, as it certainly feels like I'm the only one speaking these words and truth. While I am not alone entirely, I am seemingly in my experiences and role in all this, including the hybrid nature of my very existence. This notebook will allow me to express elements of myself and my experiences without the chronological details or order. That life story will be written and has its place. I'm writing now to share in words what it feels like to be constantly at war spiritually with that which seems to eradicate or exterminate a segment of the population today and many of those born tomorrow. The way I see the future as well as the present is a way like no other, has similarly expressed. The future is the generation that will receive my writings with more understanding than the people of the current day. The collective possession of the people of my day today does not show signs of a true belief that their actions will come to haunt them. Some know this truth inside, but instead of changing their ways, their hatred and fear of an already persecuted group only continues, and they won't verbally make an exception in their world for me when pressed on the issue. Very little to nothing is said in today's day and age about a man of Middle Eastern or Central Asian heritage in the alternative media that has purposely tried to warn the people of the West about their incoming fall, and that is happening at the hands of their rulers, and that it is happening at their hands of their rulers. As a person that has warned for years of a Chinese-Russian military counter-response to the USA, I have carried a cross or a burden weight on my shoulders and heart. I have been shunned and cast away by the people, the men and women of this society, while their leaders continue to destroy certain populations and attempt to wipe them off of the face of the earth forever. The actions taken in Afghanistan and Iraq by Western powers have resulted potentially in more deaths than what I have reported to have occurred, than what has been reported to have occurred in Nazi concentration camps. In other words, it's worse than what happened in Nazi Germany. And so I'm going to clarify that I'm not a denier, however, of the Holocaust, nor am I anti-Semitic. The technology available today was not around then and is capable of far more damage. Today's concern for these humans overseas seems to be at an all-time low. What little compassion is shown is quickly condemned and allegations of accusations with the enemy. The masses are busy fighting instead of talking about the spell they are under. I feel a strong calling to express my overall spiritual understanding of this reality and the roots of the current ongoing downfall of our society. In a future world, trying to make sense out of what may have or will happen to Earth or its people, this book will survive all disasters to provide clarity and accurate timeline information. Humanity today is already tempted with self-destruction, and at least a decade ago, I saw the events happening now ahead of time. Nothing happening now is a surprise to me. Now suicide is a leading topic, so is homelessness, so is overall mental illness, and random stories of violence. It's not a society that fully understands itself or its problems. I stated recently that I felt that there are dangers to the suicide trap, and it may include being stuck in a fallen reality rather than magically escaping beyond the matrix program. There could be greater purpose to a soul's evolution while in the body that is not fully understood by many. Our souls likely came here with a specific purpose. I certainly feel that way about my own life. Okay? Some things may not be tests, but more training simulations that help us prepare for the big test. Each human has the ability to assemble the code or solve the puzzle to contribute something intellectual to the greater whole. Time should not be wasted, yet we are taught new ways to kill this new thing called time each and every day, all the way while fighting the approach, the time in which we draw our last breath in the body. I write with the intensity now that it is the time to say the things that need to be said, or at least written in private. Anyone with accurate information on escaping the matrix and evolving their soul could be made a target, and I'm aiming to share what I've learned. I'm going to take a brief break. Okay. Bear with me. Take a breather. This will only be for a minute, but we're going to get into how social media has paranormal overtones, which I've been getting into for a while now. Many people end up possessed from their phones and their devices, spending too much time online. So this is from September 25th, 2018. This is written from my journal, and there's many more parts that have never been published. What I'm sharing with you now is just a very small sample of a larger whole or pie that I've written, that I've not. In other words, there's much more to share with you if you want to keep going with this and watching this channel. You should. Social media has paranormal overtones. Most people are in total denial of the reality that they rather believe is fictional or that of a movie. The technology that exists today exceeds that of Nazi Germany. Facebook has been a primary vessel of mind control even over those targeted population groups that falsely think that they are awake. From the wokers to the immigrants to others, even they themselves are susceptible. But then, of course, there's the conspiracy crowd. I get into that here. I wrote an article regarding mass mind control on Jeff Rince's website. However, these are some of the same people that missed the boat with identifying and being opposed to the propaganda being promoted today by the tech giants that used to demonize Muslims worldwide and those of Middle Eastern heritage. The robot apocalypse has already arrived with the new weapons of war, some manned, some unmanned, and being tested on the people of the Middle East. Bots today on live streams on YouTube are still calling for genocide. The use of modern technology to promote hatred and violence creates the paranormal overtone. That which is surveilling us can also attempt to affect us, especially if it's able to establish an energetic cord. Do invisible portals connect humans to the internet? Can people viewing online content become hypnotized? And I was writing all this before coming across the Sufi Realities channel, where it gets into all this and more. Since the answer is clearly yes, why would it not be the same as the question of possession? Could a large collective of humans be possessed together by technology, even for a temporary period in time? A passing period may be all that's needed to affect society and its actions and reactions. Control the thinking, control the emotions, control the actions. The implications of spells, hexes, attacks, and more coming through internet websites and other functions have yet to be discussed by most researchers and authors of content on topics such as psychic self-defense and spiritual warfare. Okay, they just don't get into it, but I do. Continuing on, September 27th, 2018. Particular individuals who found my channel years ago over time developed an obsession with my content, including some that developed an obsession with the white genocide conspiracy theory. What I want to center on and focus on here is why there seems to be an archonic overtone to certain people's psychology and others that have an unnatural or unusual obsessive fix on my work and words as if they are some kind of threat to their world order, okay? As if they are some kind of threat to their world. There must be a reason for this. There must be a reason for this. Now, I believe that most of my ideas on the connection between white supremacy, including other supremacy programs, or racist attitudes such as anti-white or anti-Latino, and the archons or demons should be written down here. Last night, various posts were deleted from my own on-demand VHX.tv platform. Some of it had to do with ethnicity issues, some of it to do with local off-grid tribalism, and some of it with other issues. I've seen sabotage before, so I've taken certain precautions, like something from the Matrix movies. There are other various humans that have played the role of Agent Smith to try to affect my reality in a negative way. Focus is powerful, and so are those unseen forces that will do anything they can to try to take away our focus away from the center. In the modern digital age, social media has a way of altering our focus. Trolls, haters, and obsessive humans create a unique challenge to holding focus when distracted. We can see from the world of the archons that so much weighs on our being distracted. Some humans seem assigned to observe me, and some to toy with me. One can have psychic abilities or powers to a degree and still be on the dark side. Beware of the calm sociopath or psychopath, male or female, attractive or not, fit or obese, who is manipulating their senses just enough to try to cause some interference or personality. I had removed some Chinese protection mirrors only a day earlier. Upon news of this invasive intelligence, I promptly put up the 4 mirrors back on the outside of the shed. And I find the timing to be very coincidental. It seems that there's always been some form of interference in my on-demand channel forum. My experience has shown me that public display of knowledge brings various types of energy to me. Okay? Some drawn to the content that want to be healed will attack their healer if and when they can set up or establish some type of energy cord. As a younger man with knowledge and energy I have freely shared, it has come with interference even from married women who have their methods of sapping or redirecting energy. Okay, this is the same or case for women with boyfriends. What makes this really stand out is the lack of healthy, single, interested women who are also interested in the same levels of truth or spiritual awareness. I have noticed both male and female archetypes of distraction. It can come as threatening or praise and isn't gender or race specific, but as a rule of thumb, white people under mass consciousness are not able to see why I am traumatized, and few rise above defensiveness that I might be blaming them, or worse yet, anti-white. Worse yet, anti-white. And seen recently, people see that my concerns about racism, they claim that that is racist. To push back against the programming of various cultures, the archonic interference, potentially archonic religions, they may see as racist also, because I'm not like them. I stand out. I've placed extra effort into minimizing specific references to the issues in my community and the strong far-right overtones. This is while I stayed in Pagosa Springs, Colorado. I am concerned about something comparable to a collective possession in the 2020s that could have murder on its mind. Protecting myself from unnecessary distractions and drama motivates me to share less and not more about my current situation and most thoughts. I was wigged out in 2019, and this was before COVID. We already talked about it. I believe this area could have a curse, and so many of the locals and visitors seem to have lost their hearts. Okay, again, writing about Archuleta County, the dark, dark hills, the hill people, as I call them, freak me out so greatly. The level of darkness in the eyes and in the hearts of these Facebook addicted right-wing off-gridders, and left-wing too. Left-wing also. Oh yeah. There's really no difference when it comes to white supremacy, when it comes to left-wingers or right-wingers, when it comes to Oregon, Colorado, just frankly a lot of Americans in general that have not yet addressed what they've done to millions of people overseas, but we'll continue. When an older woman fell in front of me at the gas station in town, I wondered if perhaps something else around one of us could have done it as a prank. That's pretty on edge. I think this area suffers from particular spiritual energies, power energies. They can be hard to define, but their effect can be seen in the local populations. Like those who came before me, or the lives that I may have lived before this, I prefer, but I miss it now, no longer now. I prefer the lonely mountain range to tune into my most greatest truth while overlooking Babylon burning from the safety of this hill. Well, that's all for now. Now that I literally in the eye of the storm in Babylon, 7 years later, in the year of 2025, we'll continue with my secret journals that have not yet been published from 2018 and 2019. Stay tuned, share, like, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.